Hey there, vinyl community. It's Joel from Planet 13, and this is my contest entry to the Vinyl Versus Through the Years contest. So, the Vinyl Versus run through Bill, and he recently hit 300 subscribers. And Bill's got a pretty awesome channel, as is. What I like about Bill's channel is he talks about things that I'm interested in but don't know much about, like psychedelic rock and jazz. He's been talking about jazz and just rock, and he's into a lot of stuff from the 60s, 70s and of course modern stuff. And um, I've been following him for about a month. I've only recently gotten into the vinyl community for I think November, and Bill caught my eye around end of December. And what really he really set the bar high this last week with his entry to the Omaha Introverts 1,000 plus subscriber contest, in that he did this montage of all these female artists and stuff. He just let the pictures and the images and the music do the talking. And well done with that, Bill. That is going to be. I hope to see more of that stuff from you. I know it's going to be hard to top that one. I know it's hard to be creative, especially you only got so many hours in a day, and you got work on top of listening to music. But that had a big impact on me, and I think a lot of people too. I'm leaving the link below. That just you know that just spoke to me in so many ways. Just that was a really great job, man. That was sweet stuff. And yeah, just watch that video. Oh, just pause mine. Don't even watch the rest of this if you haven't seen it. Just go away, watch that video. It's pretty awesome. If you've stuck around with me though, I'm gonna do my contest entry. So what I like about Bill's contest is it is accessible to me because um, and a lot of these contests are, but some of them are overwhelming. Like the vinyl tag for 2019 was a little overwhelming for me, which is fine. Like I enjoy watching videos more than I making them because I learned so much. But I just kind of recently got started in the vinyl community, and I don't have many albums on vinyl. And I also have like a goldfish memory where I know a lot of stuff, but I don't remember it on camera. I forget a lot of stuff on camera. And things like I forget the year I was born on camera right now. I don't, but I could. That's what I'm saying. So what I like about those contests is that like I'm not a natural presenter, so it's really cool where you're kind of taking his entry is you take 4 years and you just explain the significance of those 4 years and you show an album behind that. So that's kind of easy for me to do because I can kind of remember my memories and it makes it unique. And there's other contests like that too, of course. I'm just saying, I'm not putting any contest down or anything. I'm just saying I appreciate those contests because it's kind of simple. And my entries are kind of simple too because I'm not like a deep person. I'm kind of a basic, dumb kid deep down at the heart of it. So I appreciate this because there's a lot of people out there, they can spew out all this knowledge and stuff. And it's kind of not intimidating. It's just, I can't top that. So I'm going to get started with the entry because I'm just babbling here. So I was born in 1976. Yep, I remember it. Don't have to look at my license. And the year that album that came out with that year that has some significance to me is Kiss's Destroyer. And that has some significance to me because I just love this album for one. It's the first Kiss album I ever bought that wasn't, I guess, okay, so it's the first Kiss studio album that I bought because the first Kiss album I bought was Smashes, Thrashes, and Hits. And actually, I didn't buy that. It was a Christmas present. So this is the first Kiss album I bought. And I bought it because I knew Bob Ezrin, who produced Alice Cooper albums, was the producer behind this. And I was a big fan of Detroit Rock City. But what I really loved on here was King of the Nighttime World. That's maybe my favorite track on here. And Do You Love Me, which I knew coming into this before hearing the Kiss version. I knew from a Nirvana cover, of all things. And it's a hard to find Nirvana cover, but I heard that first. Didn't hear it on the radio. I bought this compilation with Nirvana doing Do You Love Me? So that is my pick for 1976. And it's also, my brothers are a lot older than me. They're about 13 to 9 years older than me, so they were into Kiss. They never had this album, They had the 3 previous studio albums to this, so this was kind of bridging the gap between my brothers and myself in some sense, because my brothers are my idols. They're like the biggest influences in my life. So that is my pick for 1976. Next year I'm going to do is 1989. So 1989, I was 13, and I got my first job, and I had to lie to get my first job because you had to be 14 in Canada to be employed. And my first paycheck, I bought this album. I bought it on cassette, but I'm going to show you the CD because I don't have the cassette anymore. And again, this is an album that artists that my brothers love, but this time around, the artist is Alice Cooper, the album's trash. This time around, this was my generation's Alice Cooper. This is his second comeback. You know, I wasn't born when he put out his original albums. By the time I was born, he put out Lace and Whiskey, which he was on the decline by then. He wasn't a big star. And then I wasn't even old enough, you know, when you're born, first 2 years of your life, you don't really know any artist. So he really hit my radar with this because this was a huge radio hit and huge Much Music hit. Much Music is like Canada's MTV. And it just bridged, again, the gap between me and my brothers. Because this wasn't their Alice Cooper. This was my Alice Cooper. They didn't really like this album. They liked it a bit, but I love this album. In hindsight, not my favorite Alice Cooper album. He's got 27 studio albums out. Probably in my bottom 10. But I still love this album, despite, you know, appreciating other albums a little bit more. So again, this is my first cassette that I ever bought with my own cash that I earned from a paycheck. And I bought a Sony Walkman as well, which has gained recent popularity with Guardians of the Galaxy. But I had one of those, and it was 75 Canadian dollars, which in today's money would be like $2.25 probably, like a lot of money. And I just opened up the avenue because when I was there buying that, we went, my parents brought me downtown. I found downtown's like the scuzzier part of where I live. And it's not against anything about the people or anything. There's just a lot of poverty down there. And they have a lot of secondhand stores that I discovered shortly after. And you could buy cassettes for $5. So instead of paying, I bought this brand new for like probably $20 on cassette. So you could get 4 cassettes used for the price of, you know, 1 new. So that really opened up my musical genre. Because, you know, even though I was employed, I'm still not making a ton of money at age 13. You can only work so much. And I was also buying comic books at the time, too. So I was choosing between comics and music. And 1991 was just, or 1989 was a big significance to me because of my first job. So we're going to go to the next year that has some significance is when I entered high school, and that's 1991. And I'm going to cheat a little here because I'm showing 2 albums. So these are Guns N' Roses albums. Most people forget about these albums because Guns N' Roses seems to be all about Appetite for Destruction. I bought these used. I had them on cassette. And in the one album corner, you can see a concert I went to, which was Guns N' Roses and Metallica and Faith No More. That would have been 1992. It was my second concert. My first concert was Alice Cooper for the Hey Stupid tour in 1991. But this is significant to me because I lined up for these albums. Like first year of high school, it would have been, I think, September or October. And I showed up to school the next day with these albums as like one of the most popular kids because this had a lot of anticipation behind it. And yeah, this is all I remember about high school was just having these albums. Everyone to borrow these albums. I'm like, dude, I just got these, you know, because you had to buy it at midnight. My parents let me do that. My dad drove me down. My dad would rarely drive me anywhere, but he was concerned about my safety. So he drove me down there, and it was really cool just to get these. It was a big point in my life. You know, a lot of kids recreate this experience now with video games. I think kids line up for video games or Black Friday sales for TVs. But back then we used to do it for albums. And I got those too, and it cost me quite a bit of money. It cost me probably $30 for 2 cassettes. But I was the most popular kid back then, just having these. Everyone's like, oh, because I was a nerdy kid too. Again, I was into comic books. So 91, just being in grade 9, going into high school where there's a lot of bullying going on when I was going on. The bullies left me alone after that, kind of, because they're like, you're a cool kid. I'm battling on there. So final year, these are all early years. You know, you think I talk about getting married or having kids, but I never got married or have kids, so I'm kind of off the leash for that one. So the album I'm showing for 1994, so this is when I went into university, which is a big year for me. It's Nirvana's Unplugged in New York. Why this is of significance is that up until this point, I was more of a slave to marketing. Because I was, 94, I'm 18 years old. All I have access to learn about new music are magazines like Circus Magazine, Hit Parader. There's a few others, and things I buy in the drugstore, and much music, and the radio. And when Cobain died, everyone panicked because he left a big hole, and no one knew what to do. And then a lot of bands that wouldn't normally get recognition started getting some marketing money behind them, because instead of filling that hole with one band, companies were taking their chances on like dozens of other bands. So you heard more stuff than you normally would, because of course they played Nirvana. They played this a lot on the radio because it was in demand, because people want to hear it. And this is a phenomenal album. When I talk about this being significant, I'm not trying to downplay its significance by saying because of this, music opened up again. What I like about this album is that Cobain took a different approach and didn't play a lot of his own songs, and didn't play his hit songs either. He played stuff that was meant for acoustic, and he played songs that were important to him, and that made him really relatable, because you realized there is a true artist behind this. Cobain was a true artist, I think. One of the last few, and it was unfortunate he killed himself. But there was a lot of marketing power behind him. Everything was trying to be grunge, the next grunge, and this was kind of like the death of grunge. And it just opened up a whole new world for me. We had girl rock coming out, so a lot of girl bands got a chance. You had industrial music, Nine Inch Nails, like really gaining popularity around then, which I was into. And you just had a lot of cool stuff that maybe you wouldn't have heard of coming out. So 94, I went from this kind of like, you can kind of see the trend here, like all these connect. Alice Cooper sings on this Guns N' Roses album, and Bob Ezrin produced Guns N' Roses. I was just into like straight rock. I was into like other stuff, but nothing really that fringy. And then I got Nirvana, Soundgarden, Alice in Chains, which were on the fringe, Smashing Pumpkins, but they were mega popular. And then when that killed off a lot of this stuff, obviously, as we know. But then this whole other genre, everything just kind of spider-webbed out or tangented out or whatever, and I got in a lot of other stuff. So 94 is of super significance to me, and I don't think there'll ever be a 1994 for me. I just remember going to the record store. Albums came out on a Tuesday back then. I think they come out on Fridays now, but they came out Tuesday. I'd go every Tuesday, and I'd walk out with new music that came out in 94 or 95 or 96. I'd walk out with like 3 or 4 CDs a week, and everything was awesome. And that is my contest entry. So thank you for watching. Thanks, Bill, for doing this entry. And everyone, take care.